Okay, so I've been doing a lot of Claude code consulting lately to help companies and people improve their workflows. And one of the most powerful ideas that people have found handy is that of interactive artifacts. So I'll be going through all three layers of that. And hopefully by the end of the video, you will be one step closer to being a power user. Okay, so layer one, we have static artifacts. And you may already be doing something like this, but just in case you aren't, I'll quickly go through what this is. And that is generating a single HTML file with Claude Code to basically do some brainstorming or exploration with. So for example, one of my most common use cases is doing design variations. So this is one of my upcoming projects, and I have this page of the application, and it looks fine, but I feel like it could look better, but I don't exactly know what better looks like. So usually in these situations, what I do is say to Claude, hey, so for the retrieval settings, Claude, can you give me like 10 variations on a HTML file, one after another. Each one should be fairly distinct and follow the same light theme. So giving a prompt kind of like this, Claude Code would then extract this code out onto a separate page, give me a couple of variations, I look for it, I know it when I see it, like, hey, this is the one that I was after, and then I just tell it to put that back into main application. So whilst we're waiting, here is an example that I made before, which is essentially different design variations for the HyperWhisper iOS settings. So I'm making the iOS application for my voice-to-text application, and I was like, I don't really know what the settings should look like. So then Claude Code made me a nice HTML file with 10 different variations over here. And I can kind of look through this and be like, okay, this looks kind of bad. This looks a bit nicer, but a bit too long. And then this kind of looks like the best one over here, but some things need changing. And this is especially helpful for design because I don't know how to describe what I want, but I will know it when I see it. And you don't necessarily have to do this for design variations. So another use case that I like is if you have a LinkedIn skill to basically help you write LinkedIn posts, then you can have it generate you a final HTML artifact to show you what the post will look like on LinkedIn. So this is the artifact that's included in the skill, and this is a much nicer way to view the output compared to the Claude UI. So I could just read through the one that I like, copy it over, change a few things around to make it like more natural, but it's already kind of in my writing style, and then paste it onto LinkedIn. Now, I would personally recommend having a HTML artifact as an output for any of the skills that you have, especially when you're making decisions between many different variations. And when it comes to design related work, I do this so often that I turn this into a design variation skill. So if I do /design variations, I can reference any component on my website, and then it will make variations for that. So for example, for my Claude Code Masterclass, which by the way, there is a sale going on right now. So there is a lifetime plan, which I will be removing on April 23rd. So if you want to buy the lifetime plan at a discount for the most comprehensive Claude Code class that is updated almost every single day, then there will be a link down below for this. And you may be wondering, why would I buy lifetime access when I don't know if Claude Code is still going to be relevant a year from now? And chances are a year from now, there will be another more powerful tool, which I will then be making classes on. So by buying lifetime access now, you get access to all future agentic coding related classes that I make. Anyways, I made a new component right over here, and I don't really like the design. So I can get Claude Code to make some variations here for this with the design variations skill. So I just reference this and say the bottom right card that shows how many people have enrolled in the class on the landing page. And then I type in the number of variations that I want. So I'll say 20 variations, press enter, and it will make them for me isolated. And these are the variations that I made. And I think the one that I like the most is probably 2 and maybe 17. Okay, now we can take this further onto layer 2 and make this an interactive artifact. So for example, here, it'd be really nice if I could just like leave a comment with like a bubble here and then somehow send that feedback back to Claude Code and it makes us some modifications. And one of the really good ways of doing this is to have Bun, which you may have installed on your computer, make a mini server. So this is like a really lightweight server where Bun can basically hot reload the HTML artifact. Make this interactive by adding the ability for me to click somewhere and leave a comment, and then add a export to JSON button in the top right where any feedback will be exported to my clipboard and I can copy and paste back to you. And then also make it a Bun interactive HTML artifact that is running on a local server instead. Now, whilst we're waiting for this to complete, I also really like using this to help me make interactive artifacts to understand an idea better. So for example, let's say Claude Code decided to add row level security to my codebase, and I'm like, hey, what on earth is this? I want to understand this idea better. I can just say to Claude Code, hey, can you make me an interactive HTML artifact explaining what row level security is? Add buttons, help me click around. I basically want to understand this concept better at like 3 different levels. And it seems that our previous artifact was made interactive with bun hot reload on this endpoint. So this is what it looks like. I can click somewhere. So for example, if I clicked over here, I could say, this looks okay. Can you make it like 10 like avatar profiles instead? And let's say for this one, I can click on this, say, can you add country flags here instead? That seems more interesting. And then press save here. And now I can press export to JSON. This will copy the comments over to my clipboard. Then we can paste that into Claude, and those comments will go back. And then Claude Code can do a quick update of that artifact to implement those changes that I just mentioned, and then it will automatically reload without me having to refresh the page. So hot reloaded over here, and now in a second, I think it should also make the change over here, and then hot reload. So you can see it has flags instead. And yeah, I could add something like this to my LinkedIn poster variations one. So I could just have this being editable for me, and then I can copy over and it will highlight the changes back to Claude Code so I can update my skill to like better adapt to my style. Now we have our role level security explainer ready as well. So you can see it gave me a nice explainer here. I can then click through the different levels and the different ideas, and then understand it better. Now, of course, you can use this for more complicated ideas. I said in this case, can you make me want to show me how PG Bouncer works, add diagrams, animations, and stuff? And then this is what I came up with, so this looks pretty handy. And then looking through this animation, I'm like, okay, this makes a way more sense about what is exactly happening behind the scenes. Now, moving on to layer 3, this is like even more complicated, but can be even more powerful. And that is by connecting your HTML artifact with Claude Code channels to explore data more visually. So this uses the built-in Claude Code channels feature, and you may already be aware of this because we use it for Telegram, Discord, iMessage, so you can message with Claude Code, but you can also build your own channel as well. So we're going to quickly build a channel between our interactive artifact and Claude Code so we can have things pass back and forth more easily. So let me use an example of my Claude Code masterclass. Now let's make a HTML artifact for this, whereby I map the customer journey with the help of any events that were captured in my analytics tool, also using any Stripe data and stuff so I can explore the data in a much richer way using the channels feature that we have. So firstly, I want to make sure that I have my MCP servers connected. So I have PostHog over here and then Stripe. So these are the two main data sources that I'm using. So first of all, I will tag the Claude Code Guide agent here and then say, using my data from Stripe and PostHog, the MCP servers, can you make an interactive HTML artifact with the help of Claude Code channels and make it such that I can leave a comment, like pinned comment, for any of the data that's being visualized for the customer journey. And then that will go directly back into you for the channel with that question. And then the artifact will be automatically uploaded after you fetch that relevant data. Use the code base to help you map the customer journeys with the events that are being triggered, and then give me like actual numbers. So in this case, I'm blurring out the revenue data, but you will get the bigger picture idea. So essentially what is happening here is that, like with our previous example where we had to press export to JSON and then paste it back into Claude Code, the whole idea here is that what if I just clicked here, left a comment, and then that comment would automatically go back into Claude Code and it would make those adjustments. Now, in many cases, that can be a bit overkill, like in this example, but if you're doing like deep data analysis and work for something in your business with the help of MCP servers and stuff, this can be more powerful. So you can see over here, this is how it would do the Claude Code channels extension, and it would make us a custom channel plugin so that when I leave a comment, that information will automatically go back into Claude Code, whereby it will query PostHog and Stripe for us and then update the artifact for us. So I will say, go ahead and do this whole implementation here. And it gave me a new command to run Claude Code with, so I can copy this over, go to a new tab, and it's essentially Claude dangerously load development channels, server customer journey. Press enter. This is a local development one, so I can press enter here, and then it will load that in. And it tells me the server will be running on this port over here. So clicking on that, I can open it up. Now this is what the interactive artifact looks like. Now this is a bunch of fake data, but you kind of get the point. So we can use a pin mode to send a message back into the Claude Code client. So I can click on this section over here, leave a comment and say, can you expand on this? Essentially, looking at PostHog, make another Sankey diagram to show like how far people scroll down the page or something like that. Pressing pin comment here, that should then go back to Claude Code. So you can see right over here, customer journey sent a message. can you expand on this? So the comment that we left. And now Claude Code is going to run its bash commands, MCP servers, and stuff like that to expand on the data and then update that artifact dynamically. So essentially what we've done here is that we've made our own mini app custom front end with Claude Code as the backend. And I can click around and actually change the UI itself. So click over here and say, can you remove the revenue card? And then that will also go back to Claude as a brand new message of can you remove the revenue card? And then going back, I can see this pinned comment removed the revenue thing I mentioned earlier. And now this pinned comment led to another thing where I can see how many people have viewed each section of the landing page. Okay, now to summarize at layer 3 with our channel, what we're doing is that we have our artifact communicating with Claude Code via the channel. Claude Code has the relevant skills, MCP servers, context about our code base and stuff like that. And then it dynamically updates the artifact again. And it's communicating via the Claude Code channels feature, which is exactly the same way that Claude Code can communicate with Telegram. And essentially each artifact of ours is doing two things at the same time. The first of which is our UI is capturing any decisions that we made. So for example, I could be like, okay, well, not enough people are viewing the pricing section over here. Maybe this needs to be moved up. And then I can tell like Claude Code, hey, can you move up the pricing section in the projects because it seems not as many people are viewing it? That will then go back to the channel. And then it's also serving as a conversational service to edit the tool itself. So of course, this is like a really basic version of a tool. We can make this better over time and very hyper specific to our use case by doing something like clicking over here and saying, okay, can you add tabs? So instead of having one long page, I just have tabs to flick free between. And then pressing pin, waiting a while, Claude will then automatically update the UI. So essentially it becomes much easier to switch between actually using the tool, the artifact, and building the artifact. And if you get a form factor that you really like, then you could turn this into a product or like an internal dashboard or something like that. This can be a really good starting point, especially to get the feel for the product. Anyways, to make layer 3 a little bit easier for you, I have a free video in my Claude Code Masterclass. So you can literally just go here, and if you don't want to purchase it, then you can sign up, make yourself an account, and then clicking on the class for my daily workflows, you will see that there will be a video about this particular thing and showing you how to set up alongside a skill that you can download. And of course, if you do want to take advantage of the sale on the lifetime plan before it is gone and get access to all future agentic coding classes that I make, then there will be a link down below for that. And if you are a business owner or a business manager and you want to get some Claude Code coaching for yourself or your team, then there will be a link down below for that as well.